Hey everyone, welcome back to Rising Stronger. Today I have a very special guest who already is inspiring me just from our brief talk. But her name is Farla Efros, and she's the president of HRC Retail Advisory, part of Accenture Retail Strategy, former interim CEO of True Religion, and my favorite part of all, the author of Fuck Cancer. I love that. After receiving an aggressive cancer diagnosis on a client call, she applied 30 years of Fortune 500 turnaround strategy to her own treatment. Now she teaches patients how to bring her CEO energy to the exam room and through the healing Rebel protocol. So, Farla, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk about the day that I was literally on a conference call with a multi-million dollar brand when I found out I had to save my own life instead.
Wow.
And candidly, I never got back to that call.
Yeah.
They might still be on hold.
You're like, I have to go now.
Yeah, I actually never even did that.
Yeah.
I put them on mute and I answered my other phone. Um, and then I realized I just never got back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
So
imagine.
it was somewhat shocking. And it was just by fluke that I heard my other phone buzzing. And I'm like, oh, Sunnybrook Hospital. I'm just going to pick it up, thinking
Mm,
it was to remind me of some appointment of some sort. Um, but it was not.
mm,
Unfortunately, it was the call that I really didn't think I was ever going to get, to be candid. And it was the call that I had had um, an aggressive breast cancer.
mm,
So it was very much shocking to me. Um, Even though I came from a very bad family history, I was very diligent and I've always been very, very diligent in my health. And so I was part of the high risk. Um, but my mom had had cancer and my sister had cancer. And so
mm,
I just, somewhere in my brain, I said, well, maybe I'll get lucky and um, I'll get off. And that
mm.
obviously was not the case.
Yeah. So I was sharing with you before we started recording how I call situations like that like these ground zeros where you're
Mhm.
perfect example. You're just going through like a regular day working and you get such a life-changing phone call. What a blow.
It was unbelievable. And I was completely in a state of shock, to be honest, to
Hmm.
the point where I had dinner that night and I just put on my dress and I went for dinner because what
Hmm.
else is a girl to do?
Right.
Um, and I, seconds later, and I would say after dinner, I got onto the portal and started um, putting in and leaning in and using my consulting skills to truly I became the project.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like, I like to describe it like an out of body experience.
Mm.
And so I called the consulting project me, and there I was, putting together all the data and gathering all this information. And I wasn't even back at home yet. This all happened when I was on a vacation in Valencia, Spain.
Mm.
And I still had, I think, 10 more days left of the vacation. And I remember my husband saying, do you want to go home? And I'm like, for what?
Right.
It's not going to change.
Yeah.
And I had to still wait for the final pathology, and I had to wait for the test, some of the other tests to come back. And I actually had to go for another biopsy, but
Hmm.
they weren't going to do anything. And
Right.
I said, let's just continue on our vacation, and I will just, I'll be present, but not 100% present
Hmm.
because my mind was just moving all over the place, especially because I had just lost my sister to cancer.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry.
So it was just a really hard time to,
Mm.
when you watch your parents bury a child, which in my opinion, that should never, ever
Mm.
be the case. And now I have to pick up the phone and tell my mother that her second daughter had
Yeah.
cancer.
Oh my gosh.
So it was terrifying and trembling. And I just went on a mission. And the mission was is that I kind of created that my vision and my strategy. And I said, it started with I don't want to die.
Mm.
And when you stretch your goal, and I talk about this in consulting all the time, we always create these stretch goals and then you
Hmm.
kind of narrow them back. And I created that stretch goal of I don't want to die. And so every decision I made went through that lens. And so I took a very, very aggressive stance in my decision making and very much questioned. I went into every single meeting with every doctor with an agenda and objectives, and I handed it out like a business meeting. And
Yeah.
I took copious notes in
Yeah.
pen, imagine,
Mm.
in pen and paper. And I was taking copious notes on myself.
Mm.
And that's how I felt like I was maintaining some control.
Hmm. Yeah. And then where did you go from like this beginning of just gathering all this information to like how did you end up here where you're helping others and
So I am very much a belief of that, and I'm going to describe it this way. I think doctors, whether you're in Canada or the US, and
Mhm.
I think it's everywhere, are so inundated that cancer has become like a McDonald's menu, right?
Mm.
You have breast cancer, you get the number one. You have
Mm.
colon cancer, you get the number two. You have whatever cancer, you get the number three.
Mhm.
And I said, based on even the objectives that I had built, that I wanted a version of precision medicine. I wanted, I wanted it to be specific for me and my
Mhm.
body
Mhm.
versus just getting that McDonald's menu. And so
Mhm.
I went on this journey that I took, in a sense, I took back control from the doctors and I questioned in a very um, non-emotional way
Mhm.
with and it actually came back with I had all the data to support the questions. I had my information. I knew my family history, and all of
Mhm.
it was in a binder. And so everything was in one place, one
Mhm.
spot that I can refer to it. And I started with these agendas to all these meetings, and
Mhm.
I called them meetings. And I also gathered my executive board team, I refer to it as.
Mhm.
And these were the people that were going to be on my team to help support me. And it was going to be a mix of doctors, and it
Mhm.
was going to be a mix of my personal trainer, to be very honest,
Mhm.
my naturopath doctor, because I believe in Western medicine, but I also believe that there's a naturopathic aspect, my chiropractor. Like I really assembled, and my friends that
Yeah.
were going to be there to support me. And I assembled this team to ensure that these were the ones that were going to have my best interest at heart and were
Mm.
going to help me and support me to lean in so I can get what I refer to as, like, in a sense, precision medicine.
Mm.
And it was my husband would come with me to every oncology appointment and he would sit in the corner. Um, and back then, he was wearing a mask and he would be smirking under his mask, going, these doctors have no idea what's happening right now,
Yeah.
right? You are completely managing the situation in order for you to get the best medicine possible for you.
Yeah. I on my podcast here, I share this story about buffaloes. Are you familiar with how buffaloes operate or?
No, please tell me.
So it's a true story, but when cows and buffaloes are together on a prairie or out in the wild and they see a storm coming, the cows see the storm and they run away from it. And they
Hmm.
run and they run and the storm eventually catches up to them and now they're tired, they're weary, and they get really beaten up from the storm. But a buffalo sees that storm and charges right into it head on and faces it. And your story reminds me so much of that buffalo where you're like Here's what it is. I'm going to put all this together and just face it. And
I
that's the
love
name of
that.
the thing.
What a phenomenal analogy. I'm
Yeah.
going to use that.
Yeah. And add I'm a buffalo, right?
Yeah,
Have
totally.
cancer.
I love that because
Yeah.
it's so true because
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
And in the midst of everything that I was going through, um, I had my mom got ill
Oh.
and had a stroke. And
Mm.
when they tested her, it came back that she had brain cancer. So she had breast, lung, and then it metastasized to her brain. And so she passed away in the midst of me going through cancer treatment. And I like to say that when I should have been celebrating my last chemo,
Mm.
I was eulogizing my mother. And for your mom to pass from the same disease that you're fighting, um, was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then my father, I think from the grief of losing his daughter,
Yeah.
he developed very quickly. It went from like a little bit of dementia, full stage into
Mm.
Alzheimer's,
Mm.
and he didn't know me.
Mm.
So I would fly into Montreal where he lit, where we had my brother and I had to place him, and I would put my wig on and I would go visit him in hopes that he would recognize me, but he had no idea. He didn't even know I had cancer.
Mm.
And when I finished my um when I finished my Herceptin treatment, I was eulogizing my father.
Oh my gosh.
So, life throws you so many curveballs, and you really have two paths that you can take. And I think it would have been okay had I chosen the path to sit on my couch and do the woe is me. I think people around me would have got it,
Mm-hmm.
but instead I chose the path to lean in and literally get up every day, put one foot in front of the
Mm.
other, because again, my North Star was I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
And I had been through so much, trauma,
Yeah.
right? And then we also had a home invasion.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes, they came in at 5:15 in the morning and they attempted to tase my husband,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
because they wanted our cars. And so it was just one thing after the other. And
Yeah.
at some point, you just start to laugh, and that's what you need to do. You
Yeah.
need to have laughter and just say, okay, bring it on. What more can you give
Mm-hmm.
me?
Mm-hmm.
But I really say that cancer, frankly, is my strength. It's not my weakness. And what it's given me is the opportunity to show up. I
Yeah.
spent years on the road. I was the mom that was literally, she would fly in to parent teacher interview with her luggage behind her and the airline limo guy waiting outside for her to finish up and go back to the airport. But I was never really present. I was
Mm.
there, but I wasn't present.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm present
Yeah.
and I want to be there.
There's a song, it's a country song saying like, I hope you get the chance to live as if you were dying, where it's
Yes,
like you have this some kind of diagnosis where it almost sounds like for you it was like this wake up call where it was
it
like,
was.
I want to live, I want to be present, I want to
Mhm.
embrace my life. That's really
Yeah.
profound.
And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to do things that I want to do. And the other thing is, it's my time now to give back.
Mm.
And I've had such an opportunity. I was given this diagnosis and I had an incredible result with this diagnosis. And I mean, the after cancer is very difficult with the pains and the brain fog and the chronic fatigue. I mean, it goes on forever.
Mm,
But the truth is that I'm here
mm,
and I want to support other people that are going through this that just don't have the either the capacity or the capability,
yeah.
right? So in a sense, this has now become, it was like my sliding door,
Mm,
right? I turned around companies for years, and it's now time to put that, you know, behind me or on a pause and
mhm,
lean in and really help this unbelievable community. Um, because we're a village and people
mhm.
need the support. Because no, unless you've actually gone through it, you really don't get it
Yeah.
because
Um,
it's scary.
yeah. It's like I always quote that song by Lady Gaga, "Till it happens to you, you don't
Yeah,
know how it feels." And it's so true for most of life's experiences. It's like you have to
yeah.
walk those shoes to really see what it's like.
To get it, right? You can think you get it and people try.
Hmm.
Um, but every single day when I get out of bed, it takes me an hour to get out every day because of all the aches and pains and joint pains and all that fun stuff that
Yeah.
with the aftermath, I'm reminded. And I carry that fear with me every day.
Hmm.
Every ache, every pain, every anything that I get within my body, I'm like, oh God, it's back.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so hard to let go of that.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, but hard to do.
What do you
Especially if
what do you do with that on the day to day?
I talk myself down.
Mm,
I'm a huge proponent of I will try anything and everything, by the way.
mm,
I'm a great student. So I'm now doing some PRT,
mm,
and it's a therapy that's really trying to kind of refocus my brain
mm,
because chemo and so what chemo does to your brain and all these medications do to your brain, essentially, it's like electricity is going off in it.
mm,
So you're very high sense, like your senses are really on. Versus before, if you'd bang yourself and 2 seconds later it would be gone and
mm,
you'd kind of move on to the next activity. So I'm doing this PRT therapy that's trying to help me to refocus my brain so that it doesn't go off like this
mm.
whole notion of electricity. Because if I believed in every single pain that it came back, I would be permanently in the hospital, to
Right.
be very
Right.
honest.
Yeah.
Because at our age, let's be honest, right? Who doesn't have a back pain?
Right.
Like,
Each day I notice more and more.
yeah, I know. Because see, something happens when we turn 50. Nobody tells us, but everything falls down.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's just part of life, right? And
Yeah.
when you're dealing, right, when you're dealing with menopause, so I was forced into menopause. So you can
Mm.
only imagine my
Yeah.
body is what happened,
Yeah.
right? We don't like this. So between menopause and these aroma inhibitors that I'm on, I call it the triple ven, right? I have chronic fatigue, chronic pain, and my brain fog
Mm.
is just, it's a little wacky.
Yeah.
It's a little wacky. I play games with my friends. It's kind of fun. Um, but that's what I do. I just make light of it, right?
Yeah.
It's life, right? The only person that really gets bugged by my brain fog is my daughter, but she's
Mm.
23 and her frontal lobe hasn't developed yet, so that's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. So what do you think? I hear you saying it's like this will to live, incorporating humor. Um, Anything else that you feel like helps you stay driven
Yeah,
or
leaning into your village,
yeah.
right? I, you know what I did for chemo? So I brought my husband to the first chemo, and I love him to death, but he was useless.
Hmm.
Right. He sat there and he slept and, he does whatever husbands do.
Hmm.
Um, so I fired him. And I created a sign-up sheet and I had my friends take me to chemo. And
Mm.
it was amazing.
Mm.
When do you get 8 hours?
Yeah.
with a bestie.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun. We were singing like show tunes and we were reading crap and like we were just goofing around. And we brought food for all the nurses
Hmm.
and they brought so much food. It was ridiculous. And so we just made it fun.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me, the appreciation I have for the folk, for my, I call it my village, those people are incredible. And like surround yourself with meaningful people that you want in your orbit. I
Mm,
say that all the time
mm,
because they gave me the strength.
yeah.
They really did. They gave me the strength and they just showed up. Right. And I think that's so important. And
Hmm.
the other thing that I did that I found very helpful, and this is how my book actually came about, is I joined all these Facebook groups.
Mm,
And I have to tell you, I learned so much. A
mm,
lot of what I learned in those Facebook groups were input into my agenda and objectives with the doctors.
mm.
And I brought information to the doctors that they never even heard of.
Wow.
And it was incredible. And I started blogging in those groups.
Mm,
And the responses that I got back in my blogs were very 80s music related, very tongue in cheek about how I was feeling that day. And people wrote back to me saying, "Oh my God, I love your posts. They
mm,
give me strength. I know you understand what we're going through."
mm.
And I found that so encouraging because finally I found a network of people
Yeah.
that understood me,
Yeah. And
right? Because it's incredible.
and here you are sharing and in a way almost like journaling and processing, and your words are bringing comfort and support to them. And then it sounds like
Yeah.
they did the same
They
for you.
They did, right? And I'm in my writings, it's very raw, just like in my book.
Yeah.
It's quite raw. Yes, there's a protocol in there, and my story is peppered in, but it's really raw about what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what I wrote about. I mean, my first blog I ever wrote was Today is Not Okay, because there's some days that I just want to be in bed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's some days I just can't, I don't have the energy or the will or whatever it might be to get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talk about that it's okay
Yes.
to take some time, right? And the real issue that happens as you go along the journey is once your hair comes back, right? So you look at me today, if you and I were walking on the street, you would not know anything.
Yeah.
And so you would think I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the outside is never representative of what's going on in the inside. So it becomes, as you continue on your journey, people think when you're done chemo, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it's actually just the beginning of the journey
Mm-hmm.
because chemo is a hamster wheel,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you start, like, it's only now that I'm starting to process everything. And
Yeah.
it's hard, but
Yeah.
people don't understand that because when you're a year out, they're like, oh, you're done, but you're never really done.
Well, I liken it to like people in battle. It's like you're not able to stop and process and, make sense of it while you're in the war zone or battling. It's like
Exactly.
after you get home and the dust settles that you start to really.
Yeah, like when you first lose your hair, and my hair was so super long,
Mm,
and you brush your hair and you lose your hair and you walk by the mirror and you start seeing those bald spots, that in itself could take people down. Like
hmm.
I went into a fetal position and I rolled into my girlfriend who had taken me to chemo, and I probably screamed as like never before.
Mm,
And it's like, oh, but it was just your hair. Yeah, but it's who you are,
right,
right?
right.
And that's why I want to help people because I just want to lean into people and be there and be supportive and help them manage through their journey because uh it's hard. And we all have stuff in life. And even in my book, The Protocol, it could be used for, doesn't have to be cancer. I
Hmm.
used it for my father with his dementia. It could be used for anything, really.
Hmm.
But it's really about how you really try to kind of lean into it and look for the positive,
Yeah.
right? And going into the doctors, in a sense, kind of removed from yourself is really helpful.
Hmm. I love that. You're
Thank you.
just everything you're sharing. I've got goosebumps.
Thank
It's such
you.
truly, it's inspiring the way you've managed so much and your outlook and your determination. It's really amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do.
For any listeners or viewers that, as you were saying, unless you've been through this, you just don't get it. What would you want somebody to know? Like if they have a loved one going through it, like any recommendations for how they could show up or support best or
Yeah. I think they need to educate themselves. I think there's a lot of support groups out there for members,
Mm.
right? Family members that I think it's really great. And I think it's just to be there and not ask every day, how are you? Because I actually cringe when people ask me that
Mm.
because I don't know how to answer. Because the truth is, every day, I'm pretty shitty.
Mhm.
But instead of asking that question, rephrase the question of, I'm going to bring you food. Do you want to meet for lunch? Can I get you some groceries?
Yeah.
Right. And it's about reframing, right? And never say, I'm sorry. So people say that all the time.
Mm.
Oh, I have cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry. What are you sorry for? You didn't do it to me.
Mm.
The only thing you're sorry for is is what? Right? You're happy it didn't happen to you. Trust me.
Mm.
And I don't mean to be tongue in cheek about that, but it's very awkward um for people like myself to answer those questions,
Mm.
or when somebody tells me they're sorry, next thing you know, I'm comforting them.
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it."
Right.
Like,
But
what
then
am
now
I
you're
doing?
feeling so
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess I probably shouldn't have told you. I don't know
Mm.
what to say. And so I, I'm like, when people meet me and they ask me questions, I'm like, hey, I'm Farla, I have cancer. I'm great,
Mhm.
right? I am standing. I'm here. I have this opportunity to travel the world, spend time with my amazing family and my friends, and I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but neither do you.
Right. None
And
of
that's the
us.
way I look at it, right? I can get up right now after this call, fall on my head, crack it open, and call it a day.
Right.
I wouldn't be calling it because I'd be dead, but that's okay. But you get my point. And that's it. You got to live every day.
Hmm.
You really do. And you got to take time to smell the roses and look around
Hmm.
because life is really, it's so precious. And that's what this has given me,
Yeah.
right? The things that used to bother me, whatever. And that's my answer to everything. I don't really care.
Yeah. Kind of makes puts life in perspective, like the little
Yeah,
things that maybe we don't need to sweat versus
yeah, exactly. And that's what it does for me. It puts things in perspective. And even when my husband gets upset, like, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're here and it's okay. We can get you something new or we can fix it or, what's the worst case scenario?
hmm.
And that's the way I look at things. And so it's also hard for people that have known me for a long time and they're seeing the shift.
Hmm.
Um, but like I said, it's about me and it's about me being more present and wanting to listen and putting my phone away. And again, if you had known me 4 years ago, I was the one again hiding under the table doing stuff, right? So um, I really encourage if any loved ones are going through this, lean in, listen to what your partner is saying, ask questions, and just be there because it's hard, right? It's hard on your brain and it's also very hard on your body.
Yeah.
And you lose yourself, right? And I don't like the term the new normal. I really don't. Um, I like to say that we're reframing ourselves and reconfiguring ourselves
Hmm.
versus the new normal.
Hmm. It's kind of like, are you familiar with kintsugi?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like when something happens and there's this break or rupture, and they use gold to make it stronger, more beautiful than it was before it was unbroken.
exactly. Exactly. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I just feel that from you,
I
just
appreciate that.
yeah.
Um, it's been a long journey and like I said, there's been a lot of sadness,
Hmm.
a lot of sadness, and I'm still sad. And
Hmm.
that's the truth, and that's okay. And I'm still working through it.
Hmm.
Um, I think all of us that go through this have a version of PTSD.
Oh yeah.
And um, there's a lot that comes up. There's a lot of trauma
Yeah.
that comes up from this because you lose your sense of self. And for me in particular, I lost a lot of body parts
Yeah.
and um, meaningful body parts,
Hmm.
right? And in some cases, obviously not for me at my age, but for the younger folks that are going through this, it means, in some cases, it means, some doors get closed for them.
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough that I had already had my baby, so I was done with that.
Yeah.
Not to say that I didn't still think, oh, maybe I'd have another one.
Mm.
Um, but my daughter was very opposed to it. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
And so you also have to be patient.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I would recommend. Be patient.
Mhm. What have you found both physically and emotionally? What has been some of the most helpful parts of your healing journey?
Exercise.
Mm.
Unbelievable. So it's very interesting. There's two schools of thought on this. I was an avid exerciser before. So I worked out, I played tennis, I did boxing,
Hmm.
and they told me to slow down
Mm.
and not do as much. Um, but remember what I said to you? I had my own objective and vision,
Hmm.
North Star. So I never stopped working out. And the endorphins that it releases
Yeah.
for that moment, I felt myself.
Good.
So I got up every day and I went for a walk every day just to clear my head.
Hmm.
And I worked out every day, right after chemo, right after my surgeries. And I really felt that that was unbelievably helpful
Mm.
to me. And then I also, the blogging,
Mm.
it was so cathartic
Hmm.
um, because I was tired of people reaching out, seeing how I was doing. And so that's how I just started blogging. And I think, candidly, Lisa, so much was happening at the same time that it was easier just to send out, in a sense, like a group text
Hmm.
of what was going on. Um, and what I also did is I made it kind of fun because whoever took me to chemo that day, they got an ode to them of
Mm.
what they did good and what I didn't think they did well at. So one of my girlfriends, my hands were in ice and I had a conference call at the same time.
Hmm.
But she wasn't very good at being my secretary. So I called her out for it. So I did that and it was very endearing for people. Um, and other people would be upset if they weren't called out
Hmm.
in it. It's like I created a movement, and I think all those things. And then obviously, I also, for the first time ever in my life, and I'd say that I started seeing a therapist.
Mm.
But I always felt that I could solve my own problems.
Mhm.
Yeah, not this one.
Yeah, yeah,
This one was too much
yeah,
because the bottom was falling out.
right.
And I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean and I was treading water.
Yeah.
So I needed some support. And I found that to be very helpful too
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
me, just to listen to somebody that was going to be empathetic
Hmm.
and be able to help me rationalize some of the thoughts that I was having.
Hmm. Because, like you said, there's a lot of PTSD connected to the experience.
Yes, and I had a lot of guilt because my parents, I live in Toronto, my parents were in Montreal, and I flew in as much as I could. Um, but I wasn't there when
Mm-hmm.
my mom passed, and I wasn't there when my dad passed.
Hmm.
And so I was dealing with a lot of that, and it was very difficult because the lion's share, obviously my brother had to take the lion's share because my sister was gone. And so I had a lot of guilt
Hmm.
about trying to take care of myself
Yeah, yeah,
and then trying to take care of my parents,
yeah.
um, which was again, it was very difficult. And I'm grateful for my brother really um, taking the lion's share of it because I don't know what I would have done otherwise.
Hmm.
Right. So um, I needed that help. And again, I added that individual to my executive board team,
Mm.
as I called it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and people really just went in and out of my executive board team. Sometimes I had some subcommittees.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing that I found helpful too is really getting a naturopath, an oncology naturopath
Mm.
actually, involved just to just again to add in as additional support, which I found helpful. So I'm now on a autoimmune protocol diet, and I really wouldn't call it a diet. I hate to say that, and I shouldn't have. It's really just a way of life,
Hmm.
um, because after cancer, you are left with a lot of inflammation throughout your body. Um, and so the naturopath put me on this way of life, and it's been very helpful for me too. And my inflammation actually has gone down. I just went for a blood test, I think a week and a half ago, and it was pretty unbelievable. So there's so many different things that's why I say this is a journey with no end.
Yeah.
It's really ongoing. Um, and I keep doing more and more research, and educating myself and educating my doctors
Hmm.
with I can't take an HRT, but I found a non-HRT version that got FDA approved,
Mm.
and I'm now on that drug,
Mm.
and it's been a game changer for me. So my research and has not reduced at all. I'm
Mm.
constantly researching and going into my doctors with what about this? What about this? Um, because I just think it's important
Yeah.
because I just want to reduce my risk of
Mm.
recurrence.
It's like you're your greatest advocate.
Yes, and you have to be because
Yeah,
you also know your own body,
absolutely.
right? And you have to be clear, I'm having a terrible time on these AIs and terrible time. And the doctor has said, okay, we'll go off of it for 6 weeks. And I'm like, no. And that, again, that's my stretch goal to say,
Mhm.
I'm going to stay on this drug. Now we need to figure out how to make it best that I can, continue on I'm on it for another 9 years. And
Mm.
the truth is, I'm not sure I'm actually going to ever go off of it. They don't know that yet, but,
Right.
um, but, but and that's the way I kind of live it. Like I prepare for every meeting. I have another oncology appointment coming up next Friday, this Friday, I should say. And I've already prepared the agenda. I just need to hit the print button.
Yeah. I think that's so important because my husband's in the healthcare system and they're inundated. Like it's like one person
Yes.
after the next and it's like some places, even at me myself as a patient, like I'm like, do you have enough background information on me to know
Yeah.
what's going on? So I think it's great.
Well, exactly. And a lot of times all they do, and I just had this recently, I went to a pain clinic um, because of all the pain I have, obviously. And they prescribed me something, and I went home and I'm like, I can't take that with this.
Mhm,
Right. And that's a great
mhm,
example because,
mhm.
again, it goes back to my analogy of the McDonald's menu, right?
Right,
Okay, we're going to give you this
right.
and we'll see. And I'm like, did you even look to see all the, I like to call it my portfolio of drugs. It's kind of funny. It's really not, I take more drugs than you can imagine. I take
Mm,
24 pills a day. That
mm,
includes vitamins too.
mhm,
Um, but I think that it's really important to take charge of, you know, your health and
mhm.
your life because no one else is going to do it for you.
Right. Like you said, be your own CEO.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Exactly.
Um, well, I know I could keep going for another hour, but I know this is getting long. So is there any last thing you want to end with?
I would say that, you know, my final thought is this, that I know that whoever's going through this journey, that they are utterly exhausted. And the idea of like fighting the medical system feels like it's way too much energy. I get it. But the truth is, staying silent and, about what you might have missed drains you actually even faster. And I
Mm-hmm.
think do not let the fear of being difficult stop you from getting the treatment you deserve. Take a breath, grab your binder, right? And just take that first step, become, and really become your own healing rebel.
Yeah.
And in my book, I provide worksheets and the like.
Mm,
So it's all built for you. You just need to fill it in.
that's great. Yeah, so tell us, it's called Fuck Cancer Commanding a Comeback, right? When your
Yes,
body has turned on you. Where
yes.
can people find that?
They can find it it gets released March 24th,
Mm,
and you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Barnes and Noble, or you can get it on Apple.
great.
So it's available everywhere. And I really just hope that, people read it and they really get something out of it. And like I said, it's less about my memoir because I'm here. It's peppered in, of course.
Mhm.
Um, but it's really about helping people lean in and become their own advocate.
I love that. It's like, as you're going through this, it's like you found meaning and purpose for your pain and using it
Yes,
to help and give back. That's so beautiful.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Farla, for coming on today.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
did you want me to put on the end, or did you want to share right now, like how people can reach you if they need to, or
Yes, so and you could put it on at the end. They can reach me at the Healing Rebel CA on Instagram. They can also reach me at Substack as well.
perfect?
So a lot of my blogs are I'm in the midst of putting them up on Substack. I haven't finished,
Hmm.
but that's what I'm doing as well.
Great. And just like I always ask people, if there's somebody that they know that may benefit from this, please share it, rate and review. And thanks so much, Farla, for coming
Thank
on.
you so much. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Bye, everybody.